Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to NXL 360. My name is Nadim. Hope we are all good. You had a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for the support. I saw yesterday you have reached 1,000 subscribers and 40,000 views in less than 7 days. We really appreciate the support. We don't take it for granted. We thank everyone who has liked, commented, and shared the live. We're grateful to Propilane. I mean, we saw on social media what he did on X, promoting us. Constitutional First on X. Thank you so much for ever supporting me. You have been really sharing my content for a while. I appreciate you, my brother. I'm sure you're happy also that your team Orlando Pirates is doing so well. Andy Lengube, thank you so much also for unwavering support. Also, you say you show our live because without people like sharing the live, they will never know that we have got the content. Yes, we're aiming to be the best podcast in South Africa. Yes, we're aiming to reach a, a level that no podcast has ever reached in South Africa in terms of giving you accurate information. We're not going to come with an agenda of Sokala Duma and lie to you and say we saw the Mabasa at Sundowns is going to sign. If something we don't know, we don't know. Just like Ola was saying last week, we verify. Once we verify, we tell you. We're not going to just be like other people who are easily saying things, then tomorrow it's as if they didn't say anything. If we know about something, you'll get it from us. If we don't know, we stick to what we know. What we know for a fact today is that we've got Kola Lambo, former Buccaneer, former Orlando Pirates midfielder, one of the most talented midfielders, obviously, Then Malesela used to say, Kola is a unique player. You have to understand him so that you see his strength. Either way, we have still not received payment from Marumo Galants. Dr. Abraham Selo, you might get court papers from us in the next 2 weeks if you don't get the money. We really need it. It's not even funny. Kola, welcome to NXL 360. Please encourage our viewers, Kola, and thank them for 1,000 subscribers within 2 weeks. Within a week. And also more than 45,000 views.
Yeah,
Good
afternoon,
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 Kola.
Nadim. Afternoon and afternoon to the supporters. I mean, we really appreciate their support. It's really unwavering. And to all the gents who are also pushing on the side to show the existence of NSL podcast, it really, really means a lot. We are grateful for what they are doing for us, and hopefully, like you said, we will only share accurate information that we have. That's the only thing we want to specialize in. No lies, no hearsay. If we don't know it, we don't know it. But if we are factual, just know that you'll hear it from us. And I don't think we'll speculate and speak about things that we don't know.
Absolutely, Kola. I mean, that's how it is because Sokala Duma is 10 South African football coverage into a joke. They will lie about something that they don't even know. Okay, we're not talking about Sokala Duma, we're talking about Kaiser Chiefs. Yesterday, we saw them playing TS Galaxy. I personally knew they were never going to go to Mpombela and win. I was not shocked when I see 0-0. But, Kola, what's your take on that game?
Yeah, maybe you need to be a prophet. There's something you're not telling us. Yeah, it was
Not
it was a very
really. Yeah. Other
it's
teams are
an obvious
predictable.
prediction.
No, it's
Yeah,
obvious,
man.
obvious.
It's honestly sad to see how Kaiser Chiefs are doing currently because they're not having a good form of run. Uh, you would expect them to be at the level that they've started the Premier League with. So it's just unfortunate to see them struggling as they're struggling. They've played as many games as they have. They've drew 6, they won 6, they lost 1. Doesn't look like a bad record, but in my opinion, it is if you are a big team and you want to win trophies, you know. So with that being said, I think TS Galaxy, it's not an easy team to play away. But as Kaiser Chiefs, as a big team as they are, I mean, how there's 8 years in existence or more, they should dominate the small teams that they come across. But it's as if like teams are no longer fearing Kaiser Chiefs as they used to. It's questionable for me, but I still stand on the fact of saying I haven't seen this coaching thing work until it has been proven. Then I can say teams can rely on it. You know, looking at the statistics, the Kaiser Chiefs yesterday, their best performer was their fullback, which is an uncalled for a big team. You need to have attackers being the one that are reaching top numbers. It's you see inconsistency in lineup. Sometimes you see Uselva, sometimes you see Serino on the left, Nini Ageko, they trying. Like you can't understand what they're trying to do. But maybe until they find a head coach who's going to know and who to stick with, we can start seeing better performing Kaizer Chiefs that is consistent. In their last 4 games, they drew or they lost, they drew, and then they draw again, they draw again. It's not good results. It's not at all.
So, what's your take on yesterday's match? How did they manage to escape with a point? Do you think they deserve to win, or were TS Galaxy lucky? Because we saw Kaizer Chiefs created 8 shots on target, TS Galaxy only 1 shot. And that shot, it nearly became a goal. So if
Yeah.
there was no slightly touch from Brendan Peterson, what went wrong yesterday with Kaizer Chiefs?
Yeah, Nadim, in most cases, man, I prefer the statistics and the numbers to be balanced with the video evidence. You cannot only have a statistics as in evidence, because you'd find other players covering a lot of distance, but what are they doing with that distance? Are they just running up and down, or they are being effective? So we can say Kaizer Chiefs had a lot of short of goals, but were they threatening? Were they impactful? Were they like a scary factor, like a worrying factor for TS Galaxy? I'm not sure about that. As like you said, TS Galaxy had 1 shot on target that could or almost converted to a goal. So it means Uguti Amashoto TS Galaxy for me were more effective than as many shots that Kaizer Chiefs has taken. So it's something that needs to be looked into. It's no point just shooting for shooting, but you have to have an aim. Like former coaches that have coached me, they always used to say, "There's no point in shooting. Try and score. Once you aim for scoring, there's a higher possibility and chance where the goalkeeper can make a save, but it falls within and around the perimeter of the goals." So it's very important as to the shots that you have taken. How threatening are they? Don't just shoot for the sake of shooting, increasing numbers, and then you say stats. You say you have the ball, you were dominating, you had 56% position, but where did you have that position? Was it at the back? Was it in the middle, going to the side, or was it having like progressive movements, penetrating passes, like causing havoc for the oppositions? I'm not too sure about that, man. You know,
So yesterday, in short, what went wrong the way you saw the game?
where Kaizer Chiefs is getting it wrong, it's the inconsistency. It doesn't look like Kaizer Chiefs has found their starting lineup. And why I'm saying that is because some games you see they're starting with Silva now as their top goal scorer. Nini Nomayo was nowhere to be found in the team, not knowing if he was injured or it was a change in personnel that the coaches have preferred. Sometimes Utola Gdala Uvila on the right, Nini Ndikale, this young boy also. So I think consistency, it kills the combination play, you know. Now we see Mabue being more as a relied on player in the midfield. He's been playing Nomatlo. So once they can get the balance of having combinations, knowing Uguti when this one is playing with this one. But for Maj, I think they're still searching, which is a big downfall for them. And they are at the time of the season where they should be having their team that they say, this is the team that we go for. The only place that we see it has a bit of inconsistency, it's their back four. But now it's not as consistent as it is expected to be. Because sometimes you see Umunyan starting on the right, sometimes Solomons, sometimes Kala Umaku on the left. So currently the only player that has been on the starter, it's their goalkeeper and Ukwinika at the back, until they find the balance and find their team that it is the starting lineup and they know good, if this one is not good, doing good, we put this one. Uvila, sometimes they play him on the right, they play him as a 10. It's a bit confusing for a boy. Where must he specialize? So they are still on the searching for combinations, who to put where. Nininu Iguadaru is the one that is starting. So they just need to get their house in order and go back to being the Kaizer Chiefs that is feared and that is aggressive when it comes to collecting points, the same way as they started the season.
I'm keen to know, Tola, from you. Yesterday we saw Mdu Shabalala and Mfundo Vilakazi. Are they ready to play for Kaizer Chiefs? One. I know you know how to, you played for a big team, Orlando Pirates. 2, are they the team that can restore the glory days as starters? Are they ready to be starters at Kaizer Chiefs and be dependent enough that they can bring back the glory days? Since we know that Kaizer Chiefs have only one trophy in the past 10 years, and they've not won the league or any trophy, I mean, besides the Nedbank, when they beat Pirates.
Honestly speaking, I don't think the boys are not ready. I think they are ready. That's why they are where they are. For Mena, it's the question of, are they being coached right? Do they have the support that they need to be able to carry Kaizer Chiefs as the youngsters like Abu really are doing at Pirates? So there's no way we can say they are not ready to be starters at Kaizer Chiefs. They wouldn't be there. And God doesn't make mistakes. He places you in a place where you deserve to be. So for me, I kind of feel good. The boys are ready, but they need to have the support, they need to have the coaching, and they need to have the consistency in performances. We saw how Mdu started the season. He was like a house on fire. Uvila started coming in as an impact player. So he's raising his hand saying to the coaches, I want to play. But what I am not sure about, it's because I see a lot of inconsistency. With Umdu, I think probably this AFCON thing has had a bit of impact. He's still young. He needs people in and around him who's going to guide him, motivate him. Like I said, he's supposed to take this one as a motivation to say, I'm being put on the standby, so I'm not far off to the 25-man squad that have been selected. So he needs to use that as fuel for him to go forward and fight for a position. But it's not going to be easy if Uzoba inconsistent and he's competing against player like Aborile on the other side, because they play the similar style of play, they play similar positions. Even when they rotate them, it's either they put them on the side, they have that versatility of playing in the middle. But the question is really getting better coaching at Orlando Pirates than he is for him to have a bit of a consistency, And Uvila, there's a game he started, he's creating, he already found the back of the net. So it shows Uguti they are capable, but now they need to have that support from the technical team. They need to teach them, they need to guide them as they are young. Somehow they might lose the plot, but when you have the right surrounding and the right coaching and the right belief, it becomes easier for them to now get to the next level. Because as it is, they just need to push another bar to get into the next level for them to be like real starters. Sometimes they are in, sometimes they are out. It also impacts their performances.
But maybe the question I can ask is different. Can both of them, Mfundo Mvlakazi and Mdu Shabalala, start at Orlando Pirates or Kaizer Chiefs or Sundowns? And then also a second question: which of the Kaizer Chiefs players can start at Pirates or Mamelodi Sundowns?
I think they have the capability. Umdu can start at Orlando Pirates at any given time. Honestly, Uvila as well.
Ahead of Mfokeng.
They can both play like they are doing at Pirates.
So the guys like Moremi, Apolis, Mdu Shabalala can take them out of the lineup.
Definitely, I think so. He's got the ability to do so. It's just a matter of belief and the consistency in performances. Because the only thing that they beat him with, it's their level of consistency and the team winning. It's easier to shine when the team is winning. It's very difficult to shine when the team is not doing good. So they've drawn a lot of games which impact their performance on the confidence. But we saw when Kaizer Chiefs started and winning games at the beginning of the season, it was easy for the national team coach to select him. So I don't think it would be difficult for him, Magapeti confidence, and perform consistent. So I think they have the capabilities. Those boys are talented, man. They just need to be at the right space.
So as it stands, Kaizer Chiefs are in the 4th position in the log with 24 points from 13 games. Obviously, they've won 6 and drawn 6.
Drew 6. Yeah,
and lost 1 to Sekhukhune. Yeah. They've not been losing games, but they've not also been winning.
Yeah, and like I said when I started, you can't draw so many games and want to be at the top, because other people, they might see it as it's better we did not lose. But you're getting 1 point out of 3, which for me is not a good reflection for a team that wants to achieve. It's not even half that you get. You're losing 2 points, and if they've drawn 6 games, it's a drop of 12 points. Those points can come in handy. So it's very difficult. They need to start winning more than they are drawing. I mean, Orlando Pirates has lost more games than them, but they have more wins, which is a plus for them because they're collecting the 2 that Kaizer Chiefs is always dropping, you know. So drawing a lot of games for Mina is a disadvantage. As you could even go back to the drawing board and say, at least we did not lose, but you've lost 2 points. You might have went home with 1, but the 2, where did it go? It was flushed out.
From where they are now, which is 4th position in the log, and then they play 13 matches, obviously 17 matches to go until the end of the season. What is it? Where are they fighting to win the league or to make the top 8? If they were fighting to make the top 8, where is it to maintain the place where they are now? What is it that they need? Do they need a new coach or new players?
I mean, in my opinion, I think they need a new coach because you cannot have a coach in a big team that says, I'm not challenging for the title. For me, that's a red flag when it begins. For a big team, you must go in the
Who
league.
says that? One of the coaches.
Yeah, one of the coaches said, I never promised the league. So maybe he's in a wrong team. It's just in my opinion. And other people may take it as they want. But in a big team, you have a pressure to win. And if you're saying, I'm not here to win titles, what are you saying to us? What about all the spendings that the team is doing? What about the signings that the team is doing for you? You're saying you are building. Until when? You know, you have to go there with the mentality of wanting to win, wanting to compete. If Absalom could have went to Orlando Pirates and said, oh, no, I'm new in South Africa. I haven't spent a season. I came, joined Marumo in the middle of the season to try and help them fight a relegation. Or now I find myself at Orlando Pirates. I'm going to build. Don't expect trophies. Do you think supporters would be happy about that? No. A big team should
I don't
be
think he
challenged.
was gonna be. I don't think he was gonna be hired at Pirates if he has that mentality.
Yeah,
I don't think if
a big
you
big
believe you're
team
not
always
there to
wants.
win,
Yeah, a big team must always try to challenge for every title that is there. Simple. You cannot want to be in a big team and say, I will finish top 8. And it shouldn't even work like that. It shouldn't even be considered. I think the first thing to tick in the box when they're looking for a coach is to have a coach that wants to win the league. You know, Penny McKetty was competing for the league near Cape Town City. He went to AmaZulu. He did not say, this is a small team in it. He went there, he fought, he competed. We finished second while I was still there. So it shows the difference in mentality and the coaching ambitions that one would have. So why should we have a coach in the big team? Because the big team, it contributes a lot to the national team as well. And it's sad to not even see one player, Kaizer Chiefs, having to don the national team jersey with AFCON. But it goes back to what the coaches have said. But I would have loved to see both of them doing the interview and saying, we did not promise anyone the league, because they are co-coaching. Who's heading and whose idea is that? If the other one can say, no, Mina, I want to win and I'm here to win the league, then there's a fluctuation of imbalance. And hence I'm saying they need to get a coach whom they can say to him, dude, we gave you a target. You are not meeting your targets. Because now they can say, the other one can say, I want to win all the competitions that we are playing for. The other one says, no, we don't have the squad. I don't think we are capable to. So, and there's going to be misunderstanding between the both. So they either have to hire one as the head coach, or they either have to go and find one that's going to steer their ship forward.
I watched the game, felt a bit disappointed for Kaizer Chiefs because Mpumalanga, it's my province. I know a lot of people there. During my Kuala FM days, I know how passionate they are with Kaizer Chiefs. It was a bit disappointing that they will end Christmas without seeing their team winning there. It was going to be nice for so many people. Seeing Kaizer Chiefs beating TS Galaxy in Bombela. Because obviously the fans' attendance, it was Kaizer Chiefs 90% of the stadium. I heard Tim Sugas one day saying there was a game where Chiefs played TS Galaxy and it was 50-50 TS Galaxy. There's nothing like that. There's nothing. No team can match Kaizer Chiefs. Only Orlando Pirates can make Chiefs. Tim Sugazi telling Andy on Metro FM that our game we played the Chiefs and Bombela, we're getting no. There's nothing. That's not true. There's no way. Kola, is there any?
Kaizer Chiefs, I feel they are the number one supported team here in South Africa. And maybe not only in South Africa, in Africa as a whole. You support the Kaizer Chiefs is a lot, and they have loyal supporters.
It's
So
scary,
having
bruh. If you're in the stadium,
yeah,
people who undermine Kaizer Chiefs, you must know that they've never been to the stadium. Watching Kaizer
uh,
Chiefs when their
you
fans
feel it
come all
nange
out,
derby.
yeah, it's scary.
I noticed the Kaizer Chiefs as a powerhouse when it comes to supporters. Get Derby Nadim. When you walk out, you hear the screams, the Orlando Pirates support. But after that, when Kaizer Chiefs comes out, nothing was happening. You feel a different sound. So I don't think it's possible with TS Galaxy can go 50-50 with support base. Whether they are
Mm.
playing Polokwane, Durban, Mpumalanga, Gauteng, they always go out in numbers. So they deserve performances that are rewarding the supporters for their loyalty and support.
I agree with you. Between 2009 to 2017, I attended every derby between Kaizer Chiefs and Pirates. I have never been once saw Pirates outnumbering Kaizer Chiefs in a derby. Never. Even when there was double treble, Pirates were winning. Chiefs, my man, you see when Chiefs score, the way you realize this team is,
Loyalty. Oh, yeah,
yeah.
it's big. No, it's
But the
big.
loyalty, the
It's
fans are
big.
loyal. Is the management being loyal though by making sure that is Nabi's assistant, the coach Kaizer Chiefs? Are they good enough? Was it smart, Cole? I want to ask from you. Was it smart for Chiefs management to think Nabi is not good enough? Then bring back guys who were his assistant. One of them came as an interpreter, one of them came as Nabi's assistant. Remember, these two gentlemen I'm talking about is Cedric Katze and Ben Yusuf. Both of them never applied to be Kaizer Chiefs coach. They never came to South Africa to say, I want to coach Kaizer Chiefs. They came up with Nabi. Immediately, Nabi, they discovered that he's not the guy who can take them to glory heights. Then they think the assistants are good enough to be the coach.
Honestly speaking, with the caliber that Nabi came to Kaizer Chiefs as, it was the right decision to let him go. You can't bring a coach with a high profile and not qualify for a top 8. It's a disgrace to a big team like Country you know. But the decision that they went about having to have his assistants to co-coach, I don't think it's a wiser one, honestly, because maybe by they pulling different sides because the other one wants to head the coach and the other one also wants to head the team. So they must revisit that and find someone who's going to fit into a philosophy a team, because I think big teams have their own philosophy. So coaches need to come and adapt to that, and maybe a philosophy Leo coach should be close by to what the team believes in. Because we know the glory days, how Kaizer Chiefs used to play, even with changes of coaches. The only time I saw Kaizer Chiefs play different to what we know it was Miskatsaga, Stuart Baxter. With about Ted and the rest that have came and gone, it's been the Clamor boys, But once you lose the identity, it becomes difficult. You can never build a house without a foundation. So I don't see a team as big as Kaizer Chiefs not following their own philosophy, but wanting to follow into the coach's philosophy. Because coaches come and go, so as players. But when you have your own philosophy as a team, the coach that's going to come in and join the team, they have to continue with the momentum of what the team believes in, So it's said that I only saw them maybe giving one local coach an opportunity in Coach Steve, but there's a number of coaches that have shown which are local, which are South African.
They
I
also gave
believe in local.
Atazwane. They also gave Atazwane.
Yeah, they gave Atazwane, but was it a fair chance? We're not sure. We're not sure because Nangu Atazwane now at Amazulu, he's doing what he's doing. Sometimes we lack patience, man, Nadim, when it comes to our own, as compared to the ones that are coming out from abroad and all of that. I feel sometimes we'd rather have what is ours and nurture it correctly,
What I can tell
because
you about Atazwane is that Atazwane was in the top 4, top 8. He qualified, and I agree with you. I think they were a bit impatient with him. I also think they didn't even have the players that they had then under Atazwane. The quality is different from now. That's why Atazwane, obviously, it looks like he was destined to fail. Again, I don't like how
Yeah,
they brought in Atazwane because he was as an assistant to Gavin Hunt. Then
yeah.
they make him an assistant. I don't know. Where do you think this bad habit is coming from? You sack the head coach, then you think the assistant will do better. The guy was there during the head coach. Just like Ben Yusuf and Cedric Katz. They were there when Nabi was struggling. The team was not doing well. What is it that makes them think suddenly Nabi, since Nabi has left, they will do better than him? Even the Bible in John 15, verse 20, it says, no servant is bigger than his master. This guy,
Yeah,
their master was
but
Nabi.
remember Nadim, I don't think Coach Kevin picked Atazwane as his assistant coach. Atazwane has always been in the developmental side of Kaizer Chiefs, and he's a former player of Kaizer Chiefs. So were the two coexisting? Were they working hand in hand? Are they believing in the same thing? So, which for me, I'm a big fan of the European mentality of having a manager come with his own technical team, because that shows Uguti there's one direction the people are driving at. When you sack the head coach, he goes with his stuff. Then the other one that comes in, he comes in with his stuff that he knows and trusts and believe Uguti, we have something that we believe in. We have something that we can go forward as.
No, but my
But
point is, my point, Cole, sorry to
so
interrupt.
I'm
My
getting,
point
yeah,
is
but I'm
that
getting to that point.
Nabi,
I
yeah,
think,
but go there quick, yeah.
yeah, the point is that rather allow a coach to bring his assistant coach, more about because they believe in the
Exactly.
same thing, as compared to having a coach, Besumleteli assistant that you feel Uguti, he should be there. It shouldn't work like that. Chances are when you fire the head coach, you're going to appoint the assistant as the person to take over. Why not give the assistant coach the job firsthand?
I don't know what is it that they saw, but I've heard from people inside Kaizer Chiefs that the relationship was becoming better between Nabi and Ben Yusuf. So it looked like there was always disagreement in training. So the management decided to, maybe they felt that this one looks like a brighter coach than Nabi, but it doesn't look it doesn't look so.
Yeah, I hope they get their house in order. That's all I can say, so that we can see the best from the quality players that they have them, and reward the supporters for their loyalty and support. That's just my wish, because I grew up supporting Kaizer Chiefs, and it hurts not seeing them compete for anything. It would be good for South African football having Orlando Pirates dominating as they are dominating, and having Chiefs on their tail and Mamelodi Sundowns. It would be very interesting, because we're seeing the change now in dominance. Orlando Pirates seems like they are the ones who taking things ahead, as what we normally used to being Sundowns. So the tables have turned, but it would be nice when the tables have turned, everyone is in the game, is in the get-go, because there's no longer a lot of teams that I think they can trouble Orlando Pirates and Mamelodi Sundowns. There's no longer SuperSport, there's no longer Wits. Those are the teams that were giving all of those big teams headache. So now we see a bit of his cocoon here and there, but I don't think they have it as yet to be competing like those other teams were competing, because the SuperSport was competing with Abu Kaizer Chiefs and Pirates. When you go to the finals, it's SuperSport versus Pirates, SuperSport versus Chiefs, and they were winning accolades as well. Wits winning the league, Wits winning trophies. But when last did we have that? So I would love to see that happening again, like a change in competition level, which improves the standard of our players as well. Because I'm going to play against tougher opponents, coached teams that have ambition of winning, not teams that are going there just to say, we are here to survive relegation. As long as we've survived, it's okay. Then it kills the whole purpose of having a stronger national team.
As we wrap on Kaizer Chiefs call, I want to know from you, what is it that can do to restore the glory days at Kaizer Chiefs? What is it that can
They
be
must,
done?
I think they must find the right coach, and maybe have one of their best performing coaches in the developmental side, so that he can easily fit in the youngsters that they are promoting, because they're promoting very good youngsters, but we see them being swallowed when they get into the first team, because there's no continuity. You're being developed in a certain way, you get into your first team, now you have to readapt to a new style of play, maybe European type of way of playing. But the ones that were building you there, they were not preparing you for that. So I kind of feel there must be a transition between Kaizer Chiefs development to the first team. Even if they don't have him full time as the assistant coach, like Stellenbosch, it was working for them when they had the DDC head coach. Sometimes you see him in the PSL games, in the Betway Premier League games. He's there on the bench. It simplifies the adaptation of these youngsters to get into the groove and understand. And when they see familiar faces in terms of coaching, they can relax. And that coach knows how to motivate them, how to push them to bringing their best, that found themselves being promoted into the first team. I think that can work. They need to find a coach who's going to buy into their idea, a coach that they're going to support, a coach that we know has a great history and he's got the winning mentality and wants to compete for everything that is there to be competed for. And they have one of their best developmental coaches. Why not promote coaches as well if they are doing great? It shouldn't only be about players. Because in a team is not complete if it does not have the right coach. A team is not complete if one player is not performing good. It needs to be a team cohesion that works hand in hand for the team's benefit.
So, if you're talking about coaches, from the way you speak, to me, it sounds like you believe that Atazwane is a good coach. We know that he failed at Kaizer Chiefs. What is it
What's
that
failing?
you think?
What's failing? Because he qualified for a top 8. Yes, he did not win titles, but he's not the only one.
He didn't win a trophy.
Yes. In that, yes, that's a failure in winning a trophy, but he left Kaizer Chiefs in a better place than he has found it. So that's a win for him. Because Atazwane qualified Chiefs for a top 8. That's the first thing he should hold his head high with, to say, before I took on, Chiefs was not in the top 8. And I don't think...
No, I agree. Under Gavin Hunt, yes, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, so when he left Kaizer Chiefs, it was in a better place that he has found it. And now he's lightning. He's shy. So now look at Atazwane at Amazulu.
That was a heavy lightning.
Yeah, so look at Atazwane now at Amazulu. I believe that he's got the capabilities, and you see the capabilities of the coach without having the same budget as he had with Kaizer Chiefs. So if maybe they were patient enough, if maybe they gave him the support that he needs, probably things would have worked differently,
Are you happy
as compared
to... Yeah, sorry. Before you finish your point, are you happy with how the sporting directors running the team, Kaizer Motaung June, Bobby Motaung, the team manager? Because obviously, for me, it sounds like you are saying they appointed the wrong coach. The two assistants. Are you happy with that decision to put the two coaches there? That's what I want to know.
I don't think I'm happy with appointing Coach Ben Yusuf and Cedric, because they came with Unabi. I don't think Unabi would have came with people that don't believe in his philosophy, and Unabi did not qualify Chiefs for thinking. Yes, the final decision lies with Unabi. Maybe if they were not working good at the end, but they are Nabi's people. It was not their first time working together, I believe so, Kaizer Chiefs. So when you let go of the coach, I think they should have just let them go as well and appoint somebody who's going to come with his team and have a fluidity in terms of working relation. Because, I don't believe, Nadim, and I'm going to stick to that. I don't believe co-coaching works. It has never been proven to be fruitful in any team. So whoever that has a different opinion or has different factors maybe might come with it. It's the same as having a head coach that doesn't believe in the philosophy of the head coach. That team is subjected to failure. So you need to have an assistant that is supporting. When you are a servant, like you said, you need to serve your master so that when your time to serve comes, they will also serve you. But if you have to serve your master, then you want to behave like a master. It's never going to work. Karma is a huge thing that has address, and it does not miss. It does not. So once you serve well, when it's your time to be served, it will just happen.
No. Actually, also, Kola, I've never also seen a coach being fired. A coach that came with his assistant, and the assistant being given a job and become successful after you've left. I've never seen it anywhere. I don't know where Kaizer Chiefs saw it. Maybe there's a success story where, like, let's say, Arsene Wenger is fired at Arsenal, Then they leave his assistant. Then his assistant they start delivering trophies. I have never seen it anywhere. Real Madrid or Barcelona, I've never seen it.
Yeah, that's why I need to know. Until it is proven, then we can only start believing in it. But now there's no evidence of it happening. Why now want to try something that is new and hope? And it's sad seeing that happen in a big team. Maybe let Nabuchi Bawizamile co-coaching, it never worked. Sundowns tried it, it never worked. Orlando Pirates tried it never worked. You know, there's now evidence of it not working. So why are we
No, it
continuing
doesn't
with
work.
it?
It doesn't work. It doesn't work. I don't know why they love it. This bad habit was started by Sundowns of co-coaching and is not working. So
It doesn't work. It doesn't.
okay, Kola, I hear you on that. It's a bit shocking though that you've got such a big team. That's why I'm saying we need to be honest about the people who run Kaizer Chiefs. For me, it looks like Kaizer Mtaung Jr. and Bobby Mtaung, they are dropping the ball. For me, for them to say Nabi is not good enough and believe the assistants are good enough to restore the glory dance, I think that they were being disrespectful to the fans. It's actually embarrassing to say the least. That was a wrong decision. They should.
Maybe. Sorry, Nadine, to interject, but maybe they're trying to buy time in finding someone who's going to be right in leading the team forward. If that's their goal and ambition to say, when Unabi was wherever that he was, these two could, handle the team, pick up points. They started well, but if they only saw that as time for them to go out and look for a coach that's going to fit in a Kaizer Chief, that's going to believe in what they believe in, that's going to create and come back with the glory days, then it was maybe a good idea, because you don't want to crumble everything and then start from zero.
No,
Maybe it
you have to
was
crumble. No, I disagree with you there. You have to crumble. If you believe this coach is not good enough, the
no,
assistant
but I'm
cannot be better
saying,
than him.
yeah. But what I'm saying is that when it happened, probably they hadn't identified someone who can take the ship forward.
Then it's
So
poor
for them
management.
was to say,
Then it's poor
yeah, for them
management.
it
If you
was,
get rid of the coach, you must have a substitute.
yeah, probably they did things differently there, because in Europe we see it happening. They always have a number of coaches that are possible coaches to coach the team. Hence when they have interview, they go with a directive of saying, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coach that we believe Guti can coach our team. They appoint one. If he fails, they go back to that list that they had. So I don't know
I've
how
said it
they
many
run
times.
things.
Exactly, Cole. I've said it many times. Just because they are Kaizer Mtaung's son, it doesn't mean they can run the team. All the teams in the world, most of the big teams, Manchester United is owned by the Glazer family. The family, they hire people to run the team for them. Arsenal, Kroenke family, they don't run the team. Kroenke's kids. Joshua Kroenke doesn't run Arsenal. He hires sporting directors, people who are experienced. The current Arsenal sporting director used to be sporting director of Atletico Madrid. Same with Man City. Tiki used to be sporting director of Man City. The family from Abu Dhabi, the owners of Man City, don't run Man City. This thing of thinking just because you're Kaizer Mtaung's son, you can run the team, it doesn't work. It has failed at Kaizer Chiefs. Very clear. It has failed dismally, because since the whole thing has been, you're a sporting director, a team manager, it doesn't work. It's failing at Kaizer Chiefs. I don't know when they will ever see that. For me, just because all the teams, even in basketball, ML, all over the world, Lakers are owned by a family. They hire people who will run the team for them. At one point in time, they hired Magic Johnson. So for me, I think at Kaizer Chiefs, we need to be honest about the Kaizer Mtaung Jr., that maybe is not the right guy to run the team. That's how I feel it. I've said that many times, even at Metro FM. I'm saying it now. I honestly don't think just because your father was owning a team, was a good, successful people, then you'll also run the team successful. Honestly speaking, God. I don't know if you want to comment on that.
Yeah, in most cases it happens. The team is not run by people from the family. So I hope and trust Uguti they also listen to your opinion, because you've been factual in so many things. Hence, even when we started, I said maybe you have some prophecy in you that we don't know that you are hiding. So let's hope
Yeah, because
Uguti.
even Mtsipe at Sundowns, Mtsipe tried to run Sundowns when he started. he failed. What he did, now he hired people, the sporting directors from Europe, right?
Yeah.
When
Is it
Trotmore,
Flammenberg or
yeah,
something?
when Trotmore, Flemingberg, exactly. That's why now you see Sundowns dominating the league properly. It doesn't work.
Yeah, but they're not
Family
dominating
things.
anymore.
Even Pirates are not doing well. We can praise Pirates. They are winning the league. The trophies, they are run by the Kozas kids. But they are yet to win the league. Once Pirates win the league, I will say it can work. Pirates, there's a reason why Pirates have not won the league in 13 years. It's a fact. Yes, they can win 4 trophies. Pizza will say to win a trophy, you need to win 4 or 5 games to win the trophy. But which is the bigger one? Is the league.
Yeah, winning a league is a marathon. It's not the sprint. So let's see how Pirates finishes up. If the Orlando Pirates win, then I think Orlando Pirates have a story to tell to saying it does work. We have evidence and proof which it's working. We've won the league. But for
Exactly.
now,
Yeah.
there hasn't been much evidence from our side or anyone that has the information that can say it has worked before. This happened, maybe Chelsea, maybe Atletico Madrid, maybe Real. But for now, we don't have a reference that we can
Even
sow back
Abramovich, he
to.
hired the sporting director of Manchester United to run Chelsea when he bought it. That's why Chelsea
Yeah,
became so
so
successful. Yeah, right. Yeah.
yeah, let's just wait. Maybe they want to turn the tables around. We're not sure, but yeah, I hope Kaizer Chiefs can get their act together and find a coach that's going to help them go back to the glory days. Because we want to see Kaizer Chiefs doing good. It's one of the biggest teams in the country, alongside Mamelodi Sundowns and Orlando Pirates. You know, that would be good rivalry. It's not always good seeing a league being called a dead rubber. Like you always know, with Sundowns are winning the league, Sundowns are winning the league. There has to be change. There has to be competition. There has to be a balance, you know, and it brings a lot of interesting and it brings a lot of talks to with the supporters. They end up enjoying going to the stadium, spending their money because these people are leaving their hard-earned money by buying tickets, going to support their time as well. It's very important, and they need to be respected. They need to be given the credit that they deserve. But how do you then do that? By giving them great performances. That's all. That's what they want to see because some go to those stadiums to relieve stress. Some want to forget about their bosses that are yelling. Some want to forget about the imbalance that is happening maybe in their households. They want to go seek happiness so that they can come back in the house finding happiness at the stadium. So can you imagine you leave your home frustrated, you go to the stadium, you come back more than frustrated. What's going to happen in your household? It's going to be
Yeah, no, it's
difficult.
a
So yeah,
story. It's going to be very difficult. I know people who went through so much when Kaizer Chiefs failed winning the league under
some
Nsmidi,
people don't
who
eat,
expected
Nadim.
Chiefs.
So,
Yeah. Some
yeah,
people even
some people
divorce
they
their
don't
wives.
even
They
eat.
fight everyone next to them. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah, no,
we must reward those people.
no, I agree. And to reward those people, I think Kaizer Chiefs need to hire someone who is away from the family, like not them town family, more like outside, uh, who a proven administrator who can actually take the team to better heights. As it stands, I think Kaizer Chiefs fans will continue suffering and feeling the pain. And it's still gonna be a painful and hard season for you guys because nothing changes. Some people they say the more things change, the more they stay the same. And such a true story when you see Kaizer Chiefs, nothing changes. You see them bringing different coaches, promoting assistant, telling us that this assistant is a coach. Even the players when they join Kaizer Chiefs, maybe Kola, as we wrap up on this episode, my last question from you: why most of the players when they join Kaizer Chiefs they don't improve? You see players like Apolis, he joined Orlando Pirates. He's a better player than he was at. You see players like Moremi, he looked like he's improved from the way he was at Amazon. You see Sipombule, he looked like he's better than how he was at Skuku. You look at a guy like Captain Sibisi, he's playing better than, I mean, at one point in time when he was at Arrows. What is it that Kaizer Chiefs players they get signed? You don't see the significant improvement that you see at Orlando Pirates or Mamelodi Sundowns because Mtau improved when he joined Sundowns. Williams, you can say he has really taken his game at another level at Sundowns. What is it that the players that don't look like they're improving when they join Kaizer Chiefs?
Yeah, it's really sad, Nadim, and Honestly speaking, I don't think I have the answer for that because I've never been part of Kaizer Chiefs, you know. But I know at Orlando Pirates, they give a lot of support that you need. They work with you extra if need be. The analysis has been tops from when I was there. I don't know now if it has improved or it's still at that level. So I don't know what derail or seemingly as if like players are not improving when they get to Kaizer Chiefs. But like I said, maybe it's the coaching. I'm not sure. Maybe it's something that we're not aware of. Maybe the pressure. I just don't know. But I can only answer about where I've been and where I know what's happening. You know, so I believe Wuti, once the confidence is there and the support and thing, player will improve. And as players are happy and supported and been given the opportunity to express themselves fully, we will see an influx of change. But with that being said, if we don't see an improvement, we have to then question, is it the players or is it the environment that is affecting them? You know, people maybe that have been there, if they have the answers for us, they can come back and tell to say, we think this is the cause for that. Or former players that have played there, they can come and say, but it hasn't been like that, man. We had players like Abo Mato who came from Celtics to join the Kaizer Chiefs and they
No,
improved.
just
We
looking
had
in the last 7 years. In the last 7 years.
Yeah, in the last 7 years, maybe the ones that know what's the cause of that should.
With signing that was signed by Kaizer Chiefs in the last 7 years, we feel improved when he joined Chiefs.
See, when I have to even think deeper about it, but I think Winyeka is playing better. He's improving, you know.
You think Kwenika is improved? Why is he not in the Bafana Bafana? Do you
Competition
think
is
Kwenika
tough.
has been robbed not to be in the national team?
I think he could fit there. He deserves because he's been a great performer for Kaizer Chiefs. If you look at his stats ever since he was brought back to play, and maybe other people would say I'm biased because of the relationship
no, he's not
I have with
improved.
him.
For me, it's not because how long has he been at Kaizer Chiefs? How many games has he played? Has he won a defender of the season at Chiefs? Do you remember people saying, what role has he played?
Yeah,
Do you
but there
think he
was
has improved from where he
inconsistency
was
in
at
playing
Stellenbosch?
him. There was inconsistency of playing him. You know, once there's no consistency, then there's other teams that have consistent performers. So you'll always come second to that. But let's see
So
now as he's being played regularly.
It's Kwenika only. Is Kwenika only that you think has improved?
Currently, because I cannot rate the new ones. It's only now, you know. Let's see how the other ones do until the end of the season, and we can come back and say, yeah, but we saw Mabue is now playing better than he was at Sundowns. We saw Velipai is playing better than he was at Cape Town Spurs. Let's give it time and see.
Trust me, Kola. Trust me, in the last 10 years, none of the Kaizer Chiefs players that have signed have improved. I saw Talent Mbata joining Pirates from SuperSport. I see a player that has improved. I saw
Definitely.
Maswanganyi. I saw Patrick Maswanganyi joining Pirates from SuperSport. You see a player that has improved. There are lots of players that you see them joining.
Abombata were not even playing as regularly at Sundowns, and that's why I'm saying Orlando Pirates scouting department have been doing a great job, Nadim. You know, we have to give props to that. They come with a player. OCM was not a consistent starter for ETX Galaxy. You see him doing well at Orlando Pirates at such a big team. Already the boys got 2 gold medals over his head. Abu Sibelebele. So,
and we can safely say Siema is better than what he was at TS Galaxy. He has improved.
Definitely. Because if you want to argue differently, we'll come back and say, what trophies did he win at TS Galaxy? 0. He's already won 2. Probably he's amongst the center backs that Hugo Boss is also looking at, because the boy is doing wonders. We have to give it to him. He came in there when there was a need, when there was injuries, and we bambishisa, man. We bambishisa, definitely. At some point, people were questioning, but who is this boy? Does he have the right quality to play for Orlando Pirates? And he has silenced those critics. Now people don't want to see a starting lineup without Siema, because when there was no TLB, it has to be Siema and CBC. When there was no CBC, it has to be Siema and TLB. So it shows. At some game, they tried to take him out, and the team lost 3-0. They had to revert back to what was working for them. And what was working? It had Siema there. So he's doing better than
No,
what
that's
he
a
was
good
doing
point,
at TS
Kola.
Galaxy. Yeah,
That's a good point. It
you know.
happens against Lupopo and Congo. Thank you so much to Kola
Yeah.
Mlambo. Thank you so much to you guys for watching the podcast. Please subscribe. I see that only 1,000 subscribe, but yo, the viewers are approaching 50,000. Guys, before watching, please subscribe, or before leaving, just subscribe, and that support will mean a lot.
And it'll give us the courage to keep going, you know, try finding information to be factual with whatever that we bring forward. So I think their support we really appreciate. They should also try and subscribe so that we also gain the momentum. It would be a push to the right direction for us to keep going.
Exactly, Kola. I couldn't say it better. The more you subscribe, the more we're gonna deliver you content almost daily. We'll see you soon. That's our take on Kaizer Chiefs. They played yesterday against TS Galaxy. Of course, they didn't win. It was 0-0. That's the reason why we're dissecting why they didn't win. We didn't want to just say, they didn't win this one, they didn't play well. Wanted to 360. That's why we're called NXL 360. We're covering from the management, the players, everyone. We don't just jump and criticize one player who miss a header. We look at the whole environment. Is it suitable for performance? Thank you so much, everyone. Subscribe to NSL Network. My name is Nadim Lukele. He is Kola Mlambo. See you soon.